Okay, let's get a look at some of the details of the install piece here. So first we're going to start in on the inside. Don't mind the mess in here. We got light on here. You can see there is the controller. Let's see if I can get that adjusted for you a little bit. Right here. This is the controller. I'll pull it out. I basically have it velcroed in. Velcro on the back there, and you can see the wire loom that I built. Here's the shrink wrap that I put over it, and the wiring, and I pull wire off the fuse panel down here. But this is a great place because you can't put this controller outside. There may be some that you can, but this is a good place to put it. I didn't have to drill, and it's inside. All I had to do is run this cable wire loom that I built. I just had to run that from the engine compartment inside. Now we move over back inside here. I think on the last video I talked about I cut in on the radiator hose for my temperature sending unit. That's that piece. This is where I mounted my relays for the high fan and the low fan. These are the grounds for that. Here's the updated wiring for the cables as far as that goes. And then what I'm going to do next, okay, here, let's move over here. So this, you can see where I trim this. I probably could trim it a little more. There's two holes that are in the fan that I kind of re-drilled. You'll see it when I pull it out. But this, I just had some scrap angle iron, and I used some riv nuts. So there's riv nuts that are screwed in the top of this to hold this down, and then this is essentially held in with just some bolts on that side. So that's that piece. This is my other fan, by the way. I'll do a video on that sometime. That's a aftermarket spowl fan for my secondary cooling, and that works really, really good. So let's, I'm going to pull this out so we can, so you guys can get a better look at it. So I'll be back. Okay, so before I pull it out, I want to show you the bottom. This is the bottom of the fan, and I mounted using a riv nut to the frame on the right side, and then rivets themselves. That aluminum piece I had some scrap lying around. That keeps the bottom of the fan from moving around. I only have it secured on one side. I show some pictures up here. You can see where I had to cut a little bit differently. That's a transmission cooler line coming out of there. You may or may not have that, so you may not have to trim that on yours, but I did do a lot of other trimming on that piece. So you can see it's a little bit tight up there, but it does fit. It goes down below. I also have the splash guard shield under the Jeep as well, and its main purpose is to protect the alternator from getting a lot of water on it. And I figured if I'm spending that much money on an alternator, I probably should do that. I found a aftermarket company that makes this for 75 bucks, and seems to be just fine. All right, so I'm going to pull the fan out so you can see where to cut. Okay, here's one of those things that you didn't have to do before, but you will now. In order to get this fan out, you have to loosen the belt, take the belt off, and take these bolts out, push the air conditioning unit back. Then I have enough room to slide the fan out. If you try to put this back in and get that fan, you're gonna go crazy. It's gonna drive you nuts. So this, I'm gonna do that, push it back after I loosen the belt. Pulley here for the power steering tensioner. Whoops. The only thing about having that is if you drop something, oh, there it is. Grab that. All right, undo this. It's a 13 millimeter. Okay, that loose. Put them someplace you're gonna lose these, because you know how it is. Put it someplace you're going to remember it. Find it. So all I'm doing is loosening that a little bit, sliding it back. That now gives us sufficient room to pull this out. So let me undo. Put this here. There, that's off. Screwdriver for the win. That, now I got to take these off. Now what I need to do is go below and loosen the connector down below here, which I showed earlier. Okay, that's off. That's off. And I'm just gonna get these out. That one's off. There we go, off. It's gonna be easier with this fan out of the way. Okay. Dig that out of there best we can. Yeah, that's the aftermarket fan I have made for this. I just pulled that out to make it. Holy moly! You do not want to come out today? There we go. Clear this. Okay, I told you it was tight. All right, so let's take a look. Let's get a closer look here. All right, so this right here, that used to be, get the light on there, sorry. This used to be where the mount for the mechanical fan used to come out, right there. So I've cut this completely off with a Sawzall. I had to take this out of the vehicle to do it. Cut it with a Sawzall, and then I kind of ground it down a little bit. So that's out of the way. The other thing I did, this bolt right here is pretty close. I ground that down a little bit as well. And then you can see, let me get down here. Hopefully the light behaves. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Here, this right here, on this side right here has to get cut because it's going to hit this otherwise. And then you'll see where I had to kind of cut this a little bit right here to fit on the new alternator. Swivel around here. Right there is my riv nut insert for when I put the fan back in. I've heard some people having to take the radiator, the top here, and actually I did this. I drilled it just a little bit and pushed the top in just a tiny bit. Just wrecked my nail. Ouch. And leaned it in a little. It just gives a tiny bit more room. But this is a good shot of this. No other modifications down there. You can see the routing. This is probably the other big piece that you have to cut up. Here's that fan if you want a closer look. It's a spowl. It's a VA1C AP50, and that thing moves a lot more air than the stock fan. I built this out of a piece of scrap I had lying around. So now, let's get you back on this so I don't drop the camera. Let's take a look at the fan itself. Okay, so you can see, I'll be right back. Let me grab a tape measure. Okay, let's take a look at the fan itself. So from this notch down to the bottom, you can see that that is about 5 1/8 of where I trimmed that. If you kind of guess there, that's at about 1.25 inches in. I cut that. This, you probably don't have to cut yours, because that's where I have my transmission cooler coming out. If you look on the side, I had to do a little trimming on the side there. I was going to cut this piece here, but ended up not needing to. So there's a little cutting in here, trimming to fit around things correctly. Let's go on the other side here and look. I had to do a little trimming here because of this is where the frame rail kind of sits in. So it hits that. And same thing down here. So let's measure that for you. So that one is about 3.5 inches cut over, and then it's probably, I don't know, about an inch in. I cut all of this lip here. I just cut that all off here on both sides. That was done. You can see for a reference, you can see the 2 original bolts. I kind of screwed up a little bit. I had to re-drill a little bit, but you can cut on the top of that. This is how you mount to the top. And I kind of cut over here, cut that down a little bit. I did forget to mount this last time, so I'm going to do that this time before I put it back in to keep it from hitting on the thing. But that's really it. You can see this is just these are rivets on this piece, and I was going to put more than one bolt in here, but I ended up just doing the one for now, and that works just fine. On the last video, I don't know if I mentioned, but if you do not have quality motor mounts, then you are going to have a problem. I've got some of the Brown Dog rubber mounts on here. This motor does not move at all. If you have any movement forward, you will eat into that fan and chew up some belts and things like that. So make sure before you start this project that you are using some good motor mounts. I don't know if I'd run stock motor mounts, honestly. Especially the ones that you get from in Napa AutoZone. All of those are junk. They will break within 6 months, especially on the driver's side of all the heat. The Brown Dog ones or some of the other ones will work really well, and you won't have that problem. So I'm going to put things back together now. All right, let's see if we can get this back in now. Yeah, that's like a little bit of a puzzle here. Boom, it pops in. So it's really not bad putting it in once you have it figured out. Don't forget to plug it in. You do want to make sure that nothing's going to touch that belt, that piece, because it's really close. It's back on here. I can put a bolt in the bottom. Old man sound. Ooh, lined right up. Gotta love that. All right, that's tight. Oh, more old man sounds. Let's tighten this up. All right, slide this back in. Well, it's good to get these hand started first. Before you start cranking on them. Yeah, that's good. Tight enough. Make sure the belt's on right. Yep, looks good still. Alright, gotta get the Cricut 2 tool here to check to make sure these are tight enough. Can't go by feel. See, that is pretty close actually now. I think we're good. Belt's tight enough. Whoops, sorry, hit the camera there. Check it with the tensioner. Yeah, we're on. Tighten up the pulley. I have a hole over here for this. Okay, that's on there. Good, check, check. Nothing's touched near it in the back. Always good when it starts the first time. We'll make sure the fan works. Oh, that's the stereo. We don't want to do that. Here we go. There it is, connected there. And we'll go to setup, fan, and we'll just test. Oh yeah. And then here's high. We're good, golden. We're done.